Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate your time. Today this is something that's really intense for me on the inside because it drives me nuts. We have a massive problem today. I am going to hit it directly. Many people out there, this is going to be like, what? This actually happened? Yes, it actually happened. Look, that's not a tease. I'm going to give it to you straight. Uninsured, underfed, we have a problem with our young people. Not what you're probably expecting. Wait, the tip of the day today. You don't always know what you think you know. So story goes like this. I had a client recently, not too long in the distant past, and it was a couple, and one of them says to me, I can't even go to the doctor. And I'm thinking, okay, why? In my head, I'm thinking that because I know their financial situation enough to know that they have some savings and they could go to the doctor. And she proceeds to say, I don't have insurance anymore. I'm in between jobs right now. And the man had not added her to his insurance. There was lots of variables here, but she was currently, not today, but at the time at least, uninsured for mental health, for physical health, any medical things that could be considered necessary for insurance. Well, this is the weirdest part of it. You ready? Hang on. This is going to get really whack. I say, well, why don't you just pull a couple $100 out of savings and go to the doctor? Because I know they've got this, right? And she literally says to me, you can do that? What? What? Are you kidding me? There are young people today, young meaning 25 and younger, who, because of the Affordable Care Act in 2013, that was activated 2014, I believe, but in that time zone, 12, 13, 14 years ago, that zone, because they never knew any different, and because their parents were foolish and naive, no offense to the parents out there, and did not understand that effective as of like 2016 or something like that, that you cannot be fined for not carrying health insurance legally. The Supreme Court said so. That these young people do not understand that you could go pay for your treatment and your care. They just don't think you can go to the doctor unless you have insurance. I was like, whoa, holy smokes. And honestly, it got me fired up. You can probably tell. I'm super fired up because it is so wrong that we have thousands, millions, and so on. I did a little bit of checking to see if that was one person or like if this was a thing. Now, most young adults seem to know that you could get treatment without health insurance, but there's a large chunk that doesn't think so. If you don't have health insurance, you could lose everything. If you've got nothing, what are you going to lose? There's a lot of people that think you can't go to the doctor unless you have insurance, because the first thing they say is, do you have insurance? And if you can't answer yes, turn around and leave. Boggled my flippin' gourd. So I got to thinking, what are we going to do about this? I know. I got a podcast. I'm going to help people understand reality. Here's reality. Health insurance, original design. Now, I've talked about this before. So if you've been following along, this is going to be a little bit redundant, but sometimes redundancy is necessary. You got health insurance. My question for you is why? What is the purpose of health insurance? Is it to make you healthier? No. How do we know? Because since the Affordable Care Act became a thing, the heart disease has gone up. Diabetes has gone up. We are dying over a year, maybe 2 years younger, meaning we're not living as long. So it's clearly not health insurance. Then what is it? We call it health insurance, but what is it? Here's where it gets a little tricky. We're unhealthier and we're dying younger. Why would we do that to people? Because insurance is one of the largest things you could be involved in the globe. And in the United States, I think it's of the 5 largest companies or something like that, 2 of them happen to be insurance companies. I believe it's something like that. You could double check. If I'm wrong, correct me. But it's unfreaking canny how much money there is in insuring people. Well, do this. Think about this for just a moment. If insurance companies are some of the wealthiest companies in the United States, who's winning? Is it you, the consumer? No, it is not you. And I'm talking to nearly all of you. Now, there are some exceptions. If you have a treatment that is expensive and has to be done every year, and it would exceed these things, you got to pay attention. The premium, the cost of the insurance every single time you have to pay for it. The premium, which for say like a family of 4 is around, I don't know, $1,100, $1,200, probably more than that now, dollars per month. Okay. So it has to exceed that. That's what, $13,000 to $15,000 a year just for the premium. The deductible, which we're seeing more high deductible plans. So let's say your individual deductible is $2,000. You have to both calculate in $15,000 or thereabouts, $2,000 for the deductible, and then maximum out-of-pocket costs, which is going to be usually some big number like $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000. Then, if you get to that point and you're like, we're still going to save money, then get insurance. You should have insurance. If you're going to give birth to a child this year, and you know that because you're pregnant, get insurance. If these, now there's other kinds of insurance. So I'm going to get to that. Like some of you are like, well, what if I get in an accident? You have car insurance. Okay. What if I die? Life insurance. What if I have a long-term disability? Long-term disability insurance. Like these things exist. They're separate and they're cheap. Comparatively, they're cheap. You can collect a check on long-term disability if you have insurance for it. But that's not part of the health care model. It's not. So if you have health insurance and you end up with a long-term disability, your healthcare costs are good, but you have no income. For most of you, you know what that means? In 1 month, you're kicked out of your apartment. or you can't pay your mortgage. You're screwed. We're paying all this money and we don't even understand what it does. That is ridiculous. Health insurance was originally designed to insure assets. So if you had a house, you might get health insurance so that you can work, right? If you get hurt, you can still get to work. You get the healthcare you need, you return to work faster, and you don't lose your assets. Make sense? Now we're calling it healthcare because it convinces people that it makes them healthier. That's never been its design. It's design. It's never been its design at all. And yet we have young people who are convinced, and parents of young people, so middle-aged people, who are convinced you have to have health insurance at all times and pay these exorbitant amounts to protect nothing, because most of you probably don't have very much to protect. Unless you've got houses, cars, boats. I'm not talking like $800 items. Those are big too. I'm talking about multiple thousands of dollar items, like 20,000, 70,000, 300,000, 500,000. In which case, you probably want to have some insurance. But no, health insurance companies are winning. All right, we're going to transition from that. Off my rocker for a second. Fired up, but I'm going to move into the medical model. I want to tell you a little story. For those of you who think you have to have insurance, I have been self-insuring for quite some time, and I am not rich, not even a little bit. I grew up super poor, but I realized I'd be throwing $15,000 a year. Well, at the time, it was probably like $12,000 to $13,000 a year away just in premiums plus deductibles every single year for my family. Two quick stories. One, knee surgery. Knee surgery. Thought, oh man, this is the year that I find out I should have had insurance. Go in, talk to the surgeon, get one of the best surgeons in the area to do a knee surgery for somebody in my family. And what do we find out? You get that knee surgery, it's like $30,000, something like that, 28, 29, 30, some in that zone. And we were like, oh no. So we said, what if we don't have insurance and we're going to pay in cash? Do you know what our price was? $13,000. 13,000. Whoa, that's a lot of money. Do the math. I would have paid more just in premiums that year than I paid for the surgery. What? Holy smokes. Interesting, right? So I'm thinking, great. Go in, pay the same day, boom, $13,000. It covered all the appointments after. It did not cover the rehab, but that's okay. Those were relatively inexpensive comparatively. They were like, I don't know, $40, $50 a pop. But wait, there's more. I blew out my Achilles. I ruptured it. Go in, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be rough again. And I'm thinking $10,000, $15,000. Go in, meet with the surgeon, say, hey, no insurance. $4,300. And my Achilles is put back together. What? Yeah. If I had insurance, it would have been about 11 grand. Think about that. I would have paid $15,000 in premiums or $4,300. So what do? I buy all the gadgets that I want on top of the surgery. I got the knee scooter. I got the boot. I got all this stuff. Anyway, so think about that. 50, 60, 70% difference in price. Now, I know that sounds like a scam, but when a company doesn't have to chase money, it saves them time and resources. It's that simple. And insurance companies, they make you chase the money. They will decline until you bug them enough that they finally, okay, this person is just not going to give up. Just pay it. What? So you get the insurance with all the headaches. Now, let's go a step further. In the process, I called the MRI place. The MRI place says to me, oh my gosh, we can't do anything without a doctor's approval. I'm like, I'm paying with cash. Why? Well, we need to know exactly the ICD-10 to set up the MRI. I was like, okay, they weren't budging. So I go to the urgent care and I tell the doctor, I need to go get an MRI. And she's like, well, why? I told her the story. She's like, well, we probably should x-ray it, maybe do a ultrasound and just see if there's any other damage. And I said, I literally said to the lady, and she was plenty nice. Actually, she turned out to be really great. I said, doesn't all of that show up on an MRI? And she's like, well, yes, but insurance requires that we do these other steps before we do an MRI. And I said, I'm not using insurance. I'm cash pay. And she's like, oh. I said, what steps can I cut out because I'm paying with cash? She's like, well, I guess I could just order the MRI. I was able to do it all in the same day because I got to skip steps that insurance companies require. The medical world thinks is necessary until you tell them it's not. I got to skip those steps, saving me time, saving me money, also saving other people space. Because if I can skip steps, that doctor is now available for other people, not wasting time on me when we know what I need anyway. What? Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Last note. You got to understand something about our medical model that's really, really, really critical. Our medical model suggests to you the safest possible route to prevent a lawsuit. So, say after a surgery, they're going to tell you, hey, don't use that arm, don't use that leg, don't use that whatever. Okay, makes sense. Take it easy and rest. Rest is great. Totally behind rest. I think when rest is necessary, it's necessary. Let's do it. But when you watch what athletes do, you can learn real quick there's a better way. If an athlete has knee surgery, they're on a bike within a few days. Why? Raise the heart rate, pump the blood, increase the healing time. It's great. Now, there are exceptions. There are things you have to literally rest for. But you got to ask the right questions, people. Folks, this doesn't get easier. It's going to get more complicated because right now, the AIs and the internet is learning this model of garbage. It's going to make it harder and harder to understand what we can actually do. And if y'all don't wake up, it's going to be a problem. We're going to bog down our medical system with care that is not necessary. In some cases, has zero value whatsoever. Like me getting an x-ray when I was going to go get an MRI anyway. Waste of time. We would have seen it on the MRI, which we did. So what you need to do is get informed. You got to get informed. You got to understand how this system works and what you can do differently to make it work for you better. That's the deal here. Remember, You don't always know what you think you know. Don't be afraid to ask some questions. I'm getting to an age pretty soon. Insurance is going to be necessary. It really will be. In older age, things happen and they're a little more random, a little more sporadic. Like might not have something for 3 years and then all of a sudden, boom, big thing. And then nothing for a year and then boom, another big thing. But you got to know your situation. Assess yourself. What are you protecting? What is it for? How do you make it work for you? I hope this is a good start to get you on the right track. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.